If you love dangerous encounters, powerful men, and love triangles born in all the wrong places, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story starts in a dark parking garage and doesn't end where you think it will. I always thought my life would fall apart in a hospital, or an office, or maybe in my tiny apartment with the leaky faucet. I did not, for even 1 second, think it would start to unravel in the third level of an underground parking garage at 11:47 p.m. My name is Claire Bennett, and that night I was just trying to get home. I stay late at the newspaper because my editor just needs one more adjustment to my feature on urban redevelopment. By the time I escape, the building is quiet and the cleaning staff are the only other people around. The fluorescent hallway lights hum as I stab the elevator button and ride down, sleepy and mildly annoyed. The parking levels are mostly empty. My heels echo on the concrete. My car is parked on level 3, near a flickering light that I make a mental note to complain about. I'm scrolling for my keys in my bag when I hear it. A voice. Male. Calm. Too calm. That wasn't the number we agreed on. I freeze. The sound is coming from around the concrete pillar just ahead. There's another voice, lower with a hint of gravel. You'll take what you're given, the second man says. Or you'll walk away with nothing. I should turn around. I know I should. Every true crime podcast I've ever listened to is screaming in my ears. But my feet keep moving quietly, slowly, until I reach the edge of the pillar and make the mistake of looking. 2 men stand between a black sedan and a dark gray SUV. One is immaculate. Navy suit, white dress shirt, no tie but every line of him deliberate. Dark hair swept back, posture straight. I recognize him immediately. Ethan Ward, CEO of Ward Holdings. I've seen his face in business articles, always with words like ruthless, brilliant, and acquisition attached. The other man is his opposite. Broader shoulders, no tie, black shirt under a jacket, knuckles scarred. Blonde hair cut short. His posture is relaxed in that deceptive way that says he could move very, very fast if he needed to. Between them, a slim metal briefcase sits on the trunk of the sedan. My heart stops. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I know it's the kind of thing journalists either win awards for or get killed over. I step back. My heel scrapes on the concrete. Both men go still. Their heads snap toward me at the same time. For a second, no one moves. I feel their eyes land on me like spotlights. Then everything happens at once. The blonde one reaches into his jacket. The CEO, Ethan, puts a hand out fast, stopping him. Don't, he says sharply. His gaze pins me. Stay where you are. I can't have obeyed him faster if I were remote controlled. I'm sorry, I blurt. I was just going to my car. I didn't see anything. License plate, the blonde one says calmly. She's seen our faces and your car, Ethan. It's done. I swallow hard. I didn't. I swear I didn't. Ethan steps forward, leaving the other man by the cars. Up close, he's even more intense. His eyes are a super clear gray blue that see everything and reveal nothing. You work in this building? He asks. I nod quickly. Yes. 4th floor. Chronicle. The newspaper, he says. It isn't a question. The blonde man swears under his breath. Of course she's a journalist. I'm not here for you, I say urgently. I write features. Human interest. Community stuff. I don't write about whatever this is. Ethan studies my face. Feels like a full body scan. What's your name? He asks. Claire, I whisper. Claire Bennett. The blonde man's jaw works. We don't have time for this. Ethan doesn't look away from me. You're shaking, he says quietly. Take a breath. You're the one meeting with a guy next to a suspicious briefcase in a dark garage. I shoot back before I can stop myself. Something almost like amusement flickers in his eyes. Fair. The blonde man steps forward. We can't just let her walk away. You're not touching her, Lucas, Ethan says, voice dropping into something dangerous. Lucas. The name settles in my brain like a weight. They stare each other down for a second, some silent conversation crackling in the air. Then Lucas rolls his eyes. Fine, he says. You deal with it then. But if this blows back. It won't, Ethan says. He steps even closer to me. I smell his cologne, clean and subtle, not the harsh kind rich men drown themselves in. You didn't take any photos? he asks. I shake my head rapidly. My phone's in my bag. I just want to go home. He holds out his hand. Give it to me. I hesitate, then pass my bag over. He finds my phone, checks the screen, recent apps, photo roll. Satisfied, he slips it back into the bag and hands it to me. Claire, he says gentler now, you're going to get in your car and go home. You're going to forget what you thought you saw. I have a decent memory, I say, voice shaking. It's sort of required for my job. Then forget as a favor, he says. To yourself. There's no way she's that naive, Lucas mutters. You think nobody's going to ask questions about a journalist who stumbled into. A door slams somewhere above. Voices echo as someone enters the stairwell. Ethan swears under his breath. We're not doing this here. He gestures to my car. Keys. I clutch them tighter. Are you going to steal my car too? His jaw ticks. I'm going to drive you home. Lucas will follow. You're not walking out of this building alone after what you just saw. My fight response is instantly at war with my survival instinct. I could say no. Run. Call the police. But I know what I saw. And I know enough to understand that if these men wanted me gone, I'd already be gone. Slowly, I drop the keys into his palm. He opens the passenger door for me like it's some polite date instead of a forced escort, then walks around and gets behind the wheel. Lucas slides into the black SUV and pulls out ahead of us. The drive is quiet at first. I give an address. He enters it into the GPS. You shouldn't stay that late, he says eventually. Was that an official safety warning, or are you scolding me? A little of both. You were the one doing sketchy business under a dying fluorescent light, I say. Maybe consider safer meeting locations. He almost smiles. Duly noted. After a moment, he glances at me again. You're not going to write about this? I like being alive, I say. So no, I'm not. Good. He pauses. Where do you usually work in that building? What hours? Are you planning on avoiding me? I ask. Planning on making sure nothing happens to you, he says. That shuts me up. He walks me to my door when we arrive because apparently we're committing to the bit. Lucas idles in the SUV watching. At my apartment building entrance, I turn. So what now? I ask. You two just pretend we never met? His gaze dips to my mouth for a fraction of a second before he drags it back up. For your sake, he says. That would be best. But I have a feeling that's not how this is going to go. He leaves me in the doorway with that and a heartbeat that refuses to calm down. The next morning, I tell myself I dreamed the whole thing. That lasts until I walk into the Chronicle and see a tall, tailored suit leaning against the receptionist's desk. Ethan. He straightens when he sees me. Miss Bennett. My coworkers are staring. The billionaire CEO in our lobby. Talking to me. Is something wrong? I ask, trying to sound normal. I wanted to speak with your editor about a partnership, he says smoothly. Since we were in the same building, I thought I'd say hello. This is not a hello. My editor, Marla, comes bustling out, starstruck and suspicious. Ethan slides into business mode effortlessly. Talks about sponsoring community projects, advertorial sections, positive narratives. It's all very polished, legitimate, and it has nothing to do with me. Except that his eyes keep flicking toward me like magnets. We pass in the corridor later. No one else around. Dropping by for a casual multi-million-dollar partnership? I ask. He smirks. Figured if the Chronicle is going to write about me, I'd prefer they do it on my terms. And protecting me just happens to be a side benefit? His face softens. I told you. I don't want you in the middle of things you can't control. Before I can reply, the elevator doors open and a familiar, rougher voice complains. These hallways are too narrow for this many fragile people. Lucas. In a fitted black Henley and jeans, he looks wildly out of place in a newsroom, but no one dares say anything. He clocks our proximity immediately and raises an eyebrow. Well, this isn't suspicious at all, he says. Morning, Claire. Hi, Lucas. I say carefully. He grins. She remembers my name. I'm touched. His expression shifts when he catches the edge of my still frayed nerves. His voice drops. You okay? I nod. He looks at Ethan, something like accusation in his eyes. And you said you were going to stay away. We are staying away, Ethan says. From something I don't understand, he's telling himself as much as me. Lucas leans on a nearby desk, ignoring the confused intern sitting there. Look, if she's going to be in proximity anyway, we should at least make sure she knows what she stepped into. I stepped into a parking garage, I say. The rest of it stepped into me. Lucas snorts. She's funny. I like her. Ethan gives him a look. You like problems. Lucas's gaze hardens. I like tying off loose ends before they get hurt. They're arguing about me like I'm an object. Should offend me. Instead, somehow I mostly feel scared. And unhelpfully seen. Days blur. I start noticing things. The same black SUV idling across from my building at night. A man reading a newspaper on the corner who never turns the page. A woman at the coffee shop who leaves whenever I do. Finally, I've had enough. When I catch Ethan in the lobby again, I corner him. You have people following me, I hiss. Yes, he says, not even pretending to deny it. Why? Because the people I was meeting with in that garage don't like loose variables either, he says calmly. And if they realize you were there that night, you'll be more than a loose variable. You'll be a target. Fear slams into me. So I should just accept random bodyguards and pretend my life isn't a surveillance reel? You should accept protection until this cools down, he says. It won't be forever. And what about you? I demand. Why do you care what happens to me? You barely knew my name 3 days ago. His jaw flexes. He looks away briefly, like he's weighing an answer he doesn't want to give. Maybe I'm not as cold as people say, he says quietly. Or maybe I'm selfish and don't want your blood on my conscience. Does it matter which? I open my mouth and close it. He steps closer. You being alive is non-negotiable, he says. Let us keep it that way. Us. I echo. Ethan tends to be diplomatic. Lucas says from behind me, making me jump. I tend to be preventive. He walks up, hands in pockets, gaze sharp. I've been doing this a long time, Lucas says. And I've seen innocent people end up dead because they thought they didn't need help. Don't be one of them. Why you? I ask, voice small. Why are you involved? He shrugs one shoulder. Somebody has to do the things men like him can't be seen doing. Our associate, Ethan adds, is not the forgiving type. He thinks I double-crossed him. He'll be watching. If he connects you to that night, you become leverage. So right now, Lucas says, you're the most valuable frightened person in the city. I stare between them. A powerful CEO who bought the newspaper's goodwill. A right-hand man who probably has a longer list of sins than I can imagine. Both watching me like I'm something too fragile to touch and too important to lose. I should hate this. I do hate it. But there's something else tangled up in there too. A week later it gets worse. I'm walking to my car again, this time in broad daylight, people all around, when a black sedan pulls across my path, blocking my way. A man in a gray suit steps out. Expensive but cheaper than Ethan's. His smile is wrong. Miss Bennett? He asks. Every instinct in my body screams no, but my mouth betrays me. Yes. I represent a party very interested in what you saw last week, he says. We'd like to talk. I don't know anything, I say quickly. Then you won't mind getting in the car and saying that again, he replies, opening the back door. Panic surges. My hand goes for my phone. Another man appears behind me, grip clamping on my arm. Don't make this difficult, he murmurs. I think she already has a ride. A familiar voice calls. Lucas, leaning against my car like he owns it. Relief hits so hard my knees go weak. A second later, another presence closes in at my side. Ethan. He's not in a suit this time, just dark jeans, black coat, expression lethal. Gentlemen, he says, smile razor thin. If you're going to harass one of my people, the least you can do is make an appointment. Your people? The gray-suited man sneers. Since when does Ward Holdings employ journalists? Since she became our responsibility, Ethan says. Lucas steps between me and the men, posture loose but ready. You heard him. Time to go. The man holding my arm tightens his grip.